Hey everybody, this is a video to show you how to size overload heaters for a 208 volt single phase motor, specifically the thermal overloads that are found in the power circuit. I have a 208 volt single phase with a service factor of 1.15. Service factor is the amount that a motor can be overloaded. So we're going to use we're going to start out with table 45. And that will show us how to convert the horsepower rating to a full load amp. So the horsepower rating of this motor, horsepower, is 2. So 2 horsepower motor. So this is all nameplate information, okay? So 2 horsepower, 208 volt, single phase, all of this should be found on the nameplate of your motor, all right? So table 45 is the table you would use for single phase motors, okay? Table 44 would be used for 3-phase motors. So single phase motors, all right. So we have 2 horsepower. So we have to take that horsepower and figure out what the full load amps are going to be. So that is the amount of current that would be flowing in the motor when it is flowing, or when it is running rather, sorry. So 2 horsepower, if you go to the table, 2 horsepower, 115 or 230. So this motor is 208. So 208 is not listed here. So you need to go to the notes found at the bottom of table 45. So note 1 states, for full load currents of 208 and 200 volt motors, increase the corresponding 230 volt motor full load current by 10 and 15% respectively. So if it's 208, it's telling you to take the 230 volt ampacity times it by 10%. And if it was a 200 volt motor, you would take the 230 volt full load ampacity and multiply it by 15%. So because it's 208, we're going to increase it by 10%. So 2 horsepower is a 12 amp full load times 10% because it's 208 motor. So we're taking the 230 volt ampacity, multiplying it by 10%, which would be an increase of 1.2 amps. So I'm just going to add that to the 12, and that gives me 13.2 amps full load, okay? So now we go back to rule 28-306, which would be our step 2. So this is step 1, okay? And then step 2, 28-306. So 28 deals with motors specifically and the control found. So 28-306 is rating or trip selection of your overload devices, right? So item 1 or subrule 1 says overload devices responsive to motor current, if of the fixed type, shall be selected or rated, or if of the adjustable type, shall be set to trip at not more than the following. So item A says 125% of the full load current rating of a motor having a marked service factor of 1.15 or greater. And item B says 115% of the full load current rating of a motor that does not have a service factor marked on the nameplate, or where the marked service factor is less than 1.15. So because this motor is 1.15, we would apply 28-306 subrule A, and we would take that full load amps of 13.2 and we would multiply it by 125%. Okay, so 13.2 times 125% works out to be 16.5 amps. And this is the question that is found on your review for the midterm for your motor control circuit. Okay, thanks guys.